Hey, exoplanetary biologists. Welcome to the crew. I'm Sea Lord Janda, and this is In Other Waters. This is a... how to describe this? This is a small indie game made by a single man who would later make the now widely known Citizen Sleeper. It's a very simple, mechanically story-based adventure game. Very relaxing, and a pretty amazing game, actually. I've played it once before, so that was several years ago, though, so I don't think I remember it all that well. Without any further ado, let's get going. Vehicle. Exoplanet extraction. Transitioning. Fellow Traveler presents. A jump over the age game. Designed and written by Gareth Damian Martin. And yeah, as I understand it, he's literally the only dev. Music and sound by Amos Roddy. Additional programming by Chris Payne. Say that means there's as many as 3 devs, but I think only one of them is actually employed by the studio. In Other Waters. Error detected. Rebuilding memory. Log recovered. Dated 2189. User AN. There isn't any time left. This is going to be more restrictive than you are used to, but you are resourceful, I know you. I'm sorry, Oki, but I can't let them find you. I can't lose everything we achieved here. Is missile? Possibly. User disconnected. Booting. Hello, is someone there? This is Dr. Ellery Voss. I urgently need all systems of this suit activating. I've been locked out, and I'm 20 meters below the surface here. I say again, this is Dr. Ellery Voss. Can any operator personas on this suit please respond? So we really only have 2 ways to answer, which is basically, I think, yes and no. Alright, good. Operator, activate all systems. Pilot authorization granted. Here are our systems for what they're worth. Scan and topography. Scan and topography readouts coming through, looking good. Utility. Okay, utilities available. Let's see. Sampling, sample storage, terminal and retrieval seem to be installed. Power. Power panel is activating. Plenty of juice. Oxygen. Oxygen panel is up and rebreather functioning. I'm off reserve oxygen now. Heading. I'm seeing the heading panel coming online. Excellent. And depth. Okay, good. The dive panel is active. Current reading 20 meters. You don't seem to know what you're doing. You're not an operator, are you? Sure we are. I don't believe you. Operators are little more than voice-activated system dialogues. They don't respond like this. I knew there was something strange about this suit when I got inside. It looks decades old. Look, we don't have time for this, so whatever program or system you are, I need you to work with me. You seem to respond to voice commands, so that's a start. We need to head north. I'll explain once we get going, but right now I'm locked out of half the systems of this suit. Someone, somehow, has rewritten the permissions to only respond to internal messaging. That means you. So I'm gonna need you to take control. Let's get moving. Take me north into the reef. Please. So, we are effectively the AI that's inhabiting this suit. If that little precursor was from our perspective, then you get a sense that somebody planted us here for a reason, maybe, but it doesn't seem like we're designed for this suit. None of these really have tooltips or anything. The only way you navigate is like this. Southern Gully. Feature. Steep rock walls rise up towards the surface on either side. The floor is layered with pale sand. Good. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Let's keep heading north. Narrow pass. Boulder fills the passage, blocking out the warm light of Gliese 667 cc's 3 stars. Interesting, so we're in a trinary system. Obviously it's an alien planet. No idea what this scientist person is doing here, or why they're in our suit, but we'll find that out in time. Gully opening. Here the passage opens out, back into the dappled light of the reef's shallows. Soft currents. The softly flowing water is filled with glittering particles of organic matter, signs of rich and thriving life all around. Look, in the water. Are those spores? And those stalks to the west, they look like huge fungi. This is unbelievable. Actual alien life. How could Mene have kept this place a secret? I saw her notes at the base when I landed. Some telltale signs on approach. But here it is. The first extraterrestrial life humanity has ever discovered. I can't believe it. This is how, we don't have vision per se as our AI, so this is very text-based and very audio-based, and even then it's dependent on what the pilot sort of, or the scientist in our suit tells us. It's very much a partnership sort of story. Multiple options. Bed of stalks. Fungal creature made up of a series of stalks and plates attached to the rock. The color ranges from dark amber to acid yellow. These stalks are beautiful. Wonder how they feed, how they grow, how they communicate. This place, this planet, needs to be studied. Keep scanning creatures and I'll keep notes. Once we've gathered enough data, I can name and log each species. No matter what happens here, this is vital work. We will get every species, I think. There are a good number, but not enormously many. So this is a dark amber to active yellow fungal creature of stalks and plates that stick to the rocks. This creature's external membrane appears to be made of layers of chitin, like arthropods or fungi. Beds of these strange stalks coat the pale rocks. Are they plants or animals? They're unlike any earth coral or sponge. Startled something. What were those creatures? They were hidden among the stalks. Quickly, try to get a scan. I did not achieve that, but... Oh, wait, I did. Okay. Agile creature. striped with luminous colors. These flexible, flapping creatures move rapidly through the water with little effort. Lively creatures, and so colorful too. I'll start walking my observations. Got another one. These creatures appear to maneuver with a series of siphon jets concealed beneath their folded mantles. They're incredibly fast. So if we go north, that's a southern nursery. Protected by ridges from the strong northern currents, this could be a safe haven for younger, softer species. There's one of these stalks. I'm seeing a complex pattern of contracting and expanding slits in this stalk's membrane. Mouths or sensing organs. These colonies are producing a shifting hum, perhaps a form of communication between individuals. Stalk patch. Ooh, a sample candidate. The stalks here are furred with spores, which appear to have drifted down from the northern part of the reef. So these sample candidates, we can take samples. These stalks are covered in spores of all sizes. Perhaps we can sample one of the larger ones? I'm in position. You'll have to take the sample. Open up the sampling utility. Yes, we have a very limited number of utilities over here. This is the biosample. This is the sample storage. This is our access terminal, and this is our requesting retrieval thing. There are obviously spots for 2 more here. It's very simple. Yes, calm down. Figuring out how to take the sample. There we go. We've got one. Biological samples are vital tools for analyzing and understanding creatures. This suit should also allow you to deploy any sample back into the ocean. How about you test it out? Hold and drag it over to the central compass. Just sure toss my sample of stalk spores into the ocean. A stalk spore containing a complex cocktail of minerals and compounds. Bye. Oh, I think it was possibly eaten by the fast-moving creatures. Great, that's working as it should. Look, those creatures are coming for the spores. Why these ones in particular, I wonder? Perhaps different spores carry different compounds, each with a specific purpose or message. What do you think? Could the spores be a way of communicating between different colonies? Well, I'm just a dumb robot, but, or maybe a very smart robot, but, maybe. It isn't that strange. Fungi on Earth form networks of exchange. Maybe these stalks do the same. Anyway, sorry. I'm not sure why Let's keep moving. Just sort of dump our only sample out into the ocean. Could I take another one? Oh, that's how that... I don't know how I missed that. Yeah, we line up with that, and then... I think it'll be the same, yeah. Complex cocktail of minerals and compounds. Alright, so from here we have... You can see more stalks. I'm seeing spores entering and exiting the slits on the surfaces of the stalk. Something's being exchanged. Okay, so something is being exchanged. The colonies seem to be broken up into individual patches, and then larger groups over a wide area. Smooth boulder. A huge rock which sits among layers of lichen. Could have been thrown here during a volcanically active period in the planet's history. Moving through great forests. Extraplanetary kelp at the moment. Reef stalks. Okay, so we've named them. Fungal creature which communicates through sound and spores. An interlocking ecosystem seeded across the reef. I'm uploading my initial notes. Let's call these reef stalks. We can classify this species in the lab. Yeah, and now we don't have to click on everyone individually anymore, because this one also went yellow. We can just see each of them. I forget. Do I see that in the... No, I don't see that in the message log. I know we can see more detailed info, but I think we have to get to the lab first. Silent clearing. What is it that dictates the reef's growth patterns? Sunlight? the flow of water? Whatever it is, it must be absent here. No growth up here. Stalk patch. Among these spore-clogged stalks are piles of small stones. Could a creature have gathered them here, or just the currents? Well, I think it's worth checking out. No, it's just more stalk spores. I think we only need one of each. Can't remember for sure. And that's the southern nursery, so we've circled back around. The game is slightly branching, but not significantly. Spores from the main part of the reef are brought into the southern nurseries here by a steady current, which we can see. Can I ask you something? Sure, why not? I've worked with AI programs before, but you aren't like them. They're predictable, programmatic, dull. Their intelligence allows them to log and process data, that's all. But you're different. I feel like you're alive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, maybe. Then you are different. Glad I'm not just imagining it. What are you? What are you doing in this suit? That's a good question. Why are we, if we're about the only intelligent AI around, stuck in a random diving suit on an alien planet full of life that's somehow being hidden from everyone else? Well, head north. The current running into the reef slows here, but further north, the water whips down the rift with incredible speed. East or northwest. Long rift, wide and long, with sheer rock walls on either side. This deep rift channels unpredictable currents. Strong current, flecked with spores. This water runs fast and hard. The suit can't push any further north here without better propulsion. If that's not a hint, yeah. So that's an area we have to unlock after we have an upgrade to our suit. Meanwhile, we have to go this way. Overgrown arch. This arch is covered in hardened stalks. Perhaps the slow current passing through brought their spores to settle here. Now, is this a new form of life, or are these the speedy ones? Oh no, this is a giant stalk. Static creature made up of one huge, flexible stalk. These huge stalks are incredible, each one a vertical ecosystem. They're leaking spores into the water as the fruiting bodies attached to their skin bloom. Unclear if swaying is due to current or produced by the stalk's own body. Noted. Many of these stalks are leaking particles into the water as they sway. Are those spores or something else? Large growths. These larger stalks sway all around this basin. They almost resemble branchless trees bending in a storm. So we know there's not just plant life, but plant life seems to be very common. Oh. That archway grew behind us. Did you see that? The stalks responded to our movement. They extended as we passed through the arch. Perhaps the sound we made when we moved through? We should be careful not to get trapped here. This suit's power capacity is limited. The chitin of the stalk's membrane is very hard, but flexibility is given by a surface of overlapping plates. Feeding grounds. There's a lot of activity among the rocks ahead. Creatures are grazing on and living among the stalks, forming a complex ecosystem. There's a lot of stuff up here. Look over to the southwest. That stalk's totally calcified. Looks like a good sample candidate. Okay, southwest you say? Go to the other ones first. The plates of the stalk's surface, passing over one another, must be producing the distinctive hum that can be heard. That's certainly interesting. What's that? Why is that one so much bigger than the others? Interesting. It's settled into place there for a minute. These creatures must be related to the other stalks on the reef and seem to have a separate purpose to the lower beds. It's safe to assume that the singing of these stalks relates to the communication between colonies seen elsewhere on the reef. This huge stalk is totally still. Its plate's hardened into a rocky shell. Can it be revived? Or is this what death looks like here? I don't know, but either way, we're gonna dig a chunk out of it and kill it, so. This stalk looks dead. Open up the sampling panel, and we can extract some of the outer membrane. There's lots of dead material here, so we should be able to take multiple samples. Fantastic. That's a sample. Okay, so we literally take multiple samples. Okay, so the chitin appears to be hardened with calcium carbonate. That could be useful if we need to boost our power. The suit's able to metabolize organic compounds to produce fuel. Just drag them to the power panel. That's handy. The suit displays how much oxygen or power each sample can produce. No point wasting important samples. Things we can keep one sample so we can analyze it back at the base and use the other for a power boost. Right. Stalk bark. Sample of the chitinous membrane from a stalk. Overgrown pass. The space between the rocks here is thick with stalks. The elaborate patterns they trace across the reef are beautiful. We started something. Flitting around the reef, the agile creatures chase stalk spores with great enthusiasm. Is this their primary food source? Maybe. Large stalks which sway, producing a distinctive hum or groan, part of the network found across the reef. Sing stalks, we call them. I've named these sing stalks for that strange hum they produce. What is its precise function, I wonder? Bear Canyon. The rocks here are clear of stalks and other growths. Is their absence a territorial marker, or just a side effect of the conditions in these waters? And that grew behind us. We cannot go backwards. Cavern edge. A large cavern drops down into the reef here, its entrance shadowed by the surrounding rocks. Seems super dangerous. Southern cavern. The water is still in the yawning entrance to the... Crikey. The water is still in the yawning entrance to the cavern. There are no signs of stalks or other reef life around the entrance. But into the cavern we go, because we can't go backwards. Down 20 to 28 meters. Not much deeper, but a little bit. Patchy sunlight coming through the broken cavern roof is enough to allow stalks to grow here, if that's even what they require. So we got just your typical reef stalks around here, and a tall stalk, a tall bubble-coated stalk which sits among reef stalk colonies, covered in wide irising pores. These tall stalks seem to watch over the smaller colonies. I'll start logging notes. Soft sunlight spills down onto a long, thin stalk, stretching towards the light. A coating of large, glassy bubbles glitters on its skin. And we can sample that immediately. 0% lichen, 10% signal. These gaseous bubbles are intriguing. Interior gas is at an elevated pressure. If this membrane ruptured, the sac would screech as it depressurized. Interesting. Is this part of the stock communication system we've seen across the reef? Wait, I have an idea. Try deploying one by that blocked tunnel over there. I want to see how the stalks react. Just drag one over. Right. We don't have a name for this yet, even. Yeah, and this is how we clear the blockages caused by moving through things. They retracted. These bubbles must be some kind of signal system. I'll call them shrill sacs for that squeak. We can use these to get through the heavy growth ahead. Let's get moving. Absolutely. Stalks mesh across the cavern here, hardened into a near solid wall of tubes and plates. Well, except that they all just retracted, so not anymore. The cavern curves away in both directions here. It's hard to see the way ahead. Well, looks like it ends up there. So I guess you're wondering where we're heading. Sure am. There's a way station just north of here on a finger of this reef. I want to find it. My shuttle touched down just hours ago at a floating research base to the south. That's where I found this suit. I'm here looking for Dr. Mine Nomura, chasing a message all the way from Earth. I wonder what Dr. Mine means to Dr. Voss here. I must sound mad, coming out here to a planet in the tail of Scorpius just to follow a message. Wait, you do know where we are, don't you? No, not really. But how? We're on Gliese 667cc, a supposedly unremarkable world. If it wasn't for all this life. Somehow the exoplanet extraction corps must have passed it by. But how did Mine know to come here? Is that why she contacted me? To verify her discovery? But then, where is she? Look, let's find that way station. Then I can start piecing together what's going on. Okay, fair enough. If we want to know anything, we gotta help them out. The cavern narrows here. Small eddies of water twirl in the silt. A current can be felt, drifting through the cavern entrance, bringing with it warm clouds of silt. Alright, let's ascend out of this cavern. And we're back. The entrance is right over. Oh, their entrance is right over there, so we didn't exactly travel far. Stalks of this kind seem to produce different bubbles depending on the nearby stalks. They're the protectors of their colonies. Okay. This thin stalk sits among a bed of other growths, exuding bright bubbles through its pores. I mean, we have several samples, but I guess these are actually going to be used for something, so... they're going to be useful for clearing things. We don't want to get stuck, so let's take one more shrill sacs. Obviously, we have strictly limited capacity, but we can always drop stuff. I can't help but feel some unseen processes shaping the growth patterns of this reef. What invisible borders am I crossing? Okay, either way, we just have to go north, though. The scattered boulders and steep rifts of the southern reef suggest a violent geological past. It is a bit rocky, craggy. Unlike the other specimens, this large stalk sits alone, away from the lower beds. It's hard to tell if this is the beginning of a colony or its end. So this is a sing stalk just sitting here on its own. Stalk passage. The stalks are more sparse between these rock outcrops. This might be the easiest path north, if I can clear the way. Well, I can, actually. I think this is where we could have come. The relative calm of this basin means the water is clogged with spores released by the larger stalks. I see. Ooh, a shelled creature. Mobile creature. With a large translucent shell and 4 swimming appendages, which it uses in a rapid rowing motion. These creatures have such beautiful translucent shells. I'll start logging on them as we find them. Okay, so that's at least 2 species of animal life that we know of. Yeah, this is the other path we could have used that was blocked off. The growth gets heavier as we travel north into this stock forest. Something about giving it that name makes it feel safer, more familiar. We can't actually pass through there. I mean, we could, but I know where it leads. It just leads back to where we came. Let's go ahead and blow this open, I think, yeah? Deep forest. The stalks are so thick here. A sea of amber, waving fingers that must be cleared before we can pass through. Yeah, we can take care of that. Yep, well done. Look at us. 5 minutes on the planet and we're terraforming already. Navigating these dense growths is like finding your way in a labyrinth, moving from clearing to clearing with little sense of what's ahead. Some creatures target these tall stalks directly, perhaps because they keep them away from the other, softer stalks nearby. How do the tall stalks produce these strange, screeching sacks of bubbles? We don't really need more samples, so I'll leave that. The growth patterns of the stalks suggest a complex territorial network. Are we underestimating the complexity of these life forms? Maybe I do need more samples. Use this off them. That's in the same capacity. North we go. Look at all these. The shelled creatures glide among the reef stalks with great care and precision. They appear to be grazing on them. Makes sense. A delicate set of feeding appendages beneath the creature's shell seem to scrape the outer membrane of the stalks away. Occasionally, when the creature scrapes the stalks too aggressively, they retract and let out a defensive signal to nearby colonies. Tall, bubble-producing stalks that protect and monitor stalk colonies, a key part of the stalk network that stretches across the reef. I might call these signal stalks for the signaling role they play in the stalk ecology. So that's 3 types of stalk we know about now. The reef stalks, basic, what do they call them? Signal stalks, and then the sing stalks. That's it. Are these sentries designed for early warnings, or last-ditch defenses of the colony's code? Hard to say. No, I guess not until after. East and west are stalks as far as the eye can see. They fade off into the silt like the towers of a miniature city. The upper forest. This isn't a forest, but it carries the atmosphere of one, being immersed in interlocking natural processes of life and death. Let's take the clear path first. There seems to be some tolerance for the creatures scraping by the stalks. They only warn the creature when it cuts too deeply. Interesting. Spore clusters. Spores from the stalks seem to be massing here in large clumps. This might be a good place to sample them. Well, we still have some spores. So I don't think we need that. Twin stones. These 2 boulders are covered with tiny stalks, a coating of amber fur waving in the currents. Last line of thick stalks before the sandy plains of the central reef. I assume I'm gonna need to... Yeah. That's it, we're through. This place is overwhelming. So many new species. This is the central reef. I saw on Minet's maps that the shelf flattens out here. The water beneath this outcrop feels cool, oceanic. Soft currents scrape sand from the rock face. set of smooth stones sitting together in a pile. Could a creature have gathered these here? Is this a nest? Well, let's check it out. Ooh, it's definitely a nest. Oopsies. Agile creature. These creatures aggressively pursue certain spores but ignore others completely. Can they detect differences in mineral content? That's the upper forest, so we can come in a little circle there. I believe that's the way station. That's why that looks man-made. Ripples of silt bounce sunlight back up through the water, giving it a golden glow. The center of the reef is flat and sandy, with few rocks to attach to the stalk. Oh my god. With few rocks to attach to, the stalks struggle to seed these waters. What is this, a tongue twister? Stalks struggle to seed. Not enough rocks. Interesting. There it is. I see the way station ahead. A way station set up by Mine Nomura. It's seen better days, but it still functions beneath the coating of stalks. I was gonna say it looks a little overgrown by reef stalks. This place is looking a little worse for wear. Let me see if I can find an access port. Mine never did take care of her equipment. Some things never change. Sorry. Give me a sec, I'm just trying to... Got it. Okay, we should be able to access any data stored here. Just open the terminal and take a look. Sync complete. Data released to pilot's console. Logs have been cleared. I expected that, given the secrecy Mine seems to be operating under. But the map data mentions something Mine calls the Bloom, out across the northern rift. She's been going back and forth to something there, studying it. A unique species, perhaps? Mine, what were you doing here? Why were you keeping this discovery from the world? From me? I'm talking to myself again. Or to whatever you are. Sorry, I don't mean... Let's head back to the research base. I need to think. Okay. With this way station operational, we can call in the base's retrieval drone from the utility panel. This drone will be able to pick us up from any area we've got map data for. Let's head to the base. I've got a lot to figure out. Okay, so engaging in quick travel now. Request retrieval. Restarting. Resyncing with Vehicle OS. Downtime 4.2 hours. Here we are. Hey, are you back online? Yep. Pretty sharp work for a biologist if I do say so myself. Not bad. Hooking up that strange casing of yours to the base took some work. Oh, yeah, we're very non-standard, aren't we? And the OS here does not play nicely with whatever you are. It makes sense. But you should have access to select subsystems of the stack now. Mine looks to have repurposed some of them, so not everything is functional. Comms are shot, the generator is only partially working, and one of the retrieval drones is missing. But I've booted up the dive-based mapping systems and sample storage. The lab's also online, with analysis tools, and an integrated taxonomy for logging creatures. Is that supposed to be integrated? Take a look. I've already logged the creatures we discovered on the last dive. For any logged creatures, I'll also put sample requests in their taxonomy entries. To fulfill these requests, just find and transfer the samples to the lab, then analyze them. I can then use that data to add to the creature study. We need to register these species. Head down to the lab level and take a look. I'll also mark sample requests on the dive map. That way we can grab key samples for our studies while we're out in the ocean. And we are going back out soon. While you were offline, I spotted a signal, a suit transponder. You can see its location on the dive map. I want to find it. Suit transponder means a suit. And a suit means I'll need your help. That suit takes both of us to pilot it. That's the only one I've got. Once you're done exploring the base, load into the dive map. We can head out from there. If you are a YouTube viewer, this will probably be the end of episode 1. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Remember to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video.